Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media. The last couple of videos I've done some art journal pages. The first one was just throwing things at it. The second one is using prompts. And this one, you ready for a shock? I've planned. Not that I'm going to actually do every step or it's not that I even have a picture in my head of what I want it to be in the end. I've just planned some steps and a color story. There's different ways to plan. You could draw out what you want your end result to be. You could do like this and just put your steps that you want to do. I was inspired by Jess and Art. She had a video, 4 steps to get you going, which was like collage, gesso, paint, and texture. And you know, then you could go on from there. And then I just added a couple more things. She also added color, a focal point, and shading. So I added those that she did in the stamping and stenciling in between the gesso and the paint I decided I wanted to do. And then I also figured out a color story using Barbara, 49 Dragonflies. She's got this kit, woven something. I'll link it down below. So this is my inspiration for my color story. I've got the dark, deep blues and some bright, like yellow ochre, nickel azo gold is similar to the yellows that are in here, and that might even be a little bit of a sienna, or I don't know, it's a little bit different. But and then I might use something from her kit as a focal point. I don't know about my focal point yet. I mean, this is pretty, so that might, and then I could cut out some of these flowers individually even. So I don't know the top layer yet. I won't know that till I get to there. But I've got these pieces in the wings for when I'm ready for them. All right, getting warm already. So I'm gonna start with collage. And so I've got my papers with the colors, and I'm gonna do this in the same journal I was working on the video before last. And I'm just going to use glue stick to glue stuff down, and I'm not sure about that one because it's a little bit dark. I'm gonna start with like she used like a really big piece of, what's this called, book page. I'm not gonna use as big of a piece, but I do want it good size. So I'm just going to start by collaging. How you collage is totally up to you. There are no rules. There's no right or wrong. You just add what you like. So I'm going to start with some neutral. And it's a good way to break the blank page too, is to just get some collage on there. I move these to the side. In my way. So she started just putting a couple of big pieces of book page on and then added some colorful pieces. Now I am using pieces that I printed on my inkjet. They could run. I realize that that is a possibility. I'm aware, and I'm just gonna kind of be a little bit careful with that. I really like this. This I think is from Tracy Fox wallpaper kit. So I'm gonna add that on here. That just will give it some of that blue. I love blue. Like this navy blue is one of my favorite colors to work with. So, yeah. Wait, okay, good. Just want to make sure I'm in. And then this is actually one of my digitals. I've got like some gel plate prints that I did, and then I added layering to digitally. And so there's a couple good size of those. This is probably the blue one. And so, yeah, I'm not looking for perfection. And then this had some of the yellow in it, so I thought I would bring some of this in. Actually, this is also from Tracy Fox, Love Junk Journals, her wallpaper kit. I don't know if it's the same one as the blue or a different one, because she's got a few. And I don't like to line up when I'm collaging. I don't really like to line up my lines. Something like this makes me a little bit happy. And I just kind of want to balance the other side with a little bit of yellow. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I've got, do I want to use this piece? So this is a smaller print. So this is like a large print. This would be like a medium one, and this would be a small one. Not that it really matters, because guess what? They're not going to even hardly show. This is just the underwear. This layer may not even really show, so I can't worry too much about it. I'm just getting my colors down and some texture, because the collage itself will add texture, and then when you're shading in the end, getting more of that texture in, you'll see kind of why it's a nice background texture to have. Sure, why not? I said we can't overthink it. I'm gonna overthink it, but we shouldn't overthink it. I might save that for the final, for the focal point, if I want to do a little bit of collage with that. And then this is, who knows what it was printed on, because that is from one of the Your Creative Studio boxes, as is this. Just gonna add, I want blocks of squares, which is also part of the inspiration from the kit, because she had blocks. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but you know, she's got these blocks in here, so this is also somewhat inspiration from the kit. My next layer is going to be gesso, so that's partly why I'm not really too concerned about if I'm getting glue on the page or not. And I'm going to apply the gesso with a palette knife. You could use a palette knife, or you could use a card, you know, like a bowl scraper or a gift card or whatever. I don't think I want to use those. This is like a really tiny bit, but if I want a little bit more yellow in there, which I think I do, that's just straw paper, also from Rachel Roxy Creations, which is where these book pages came from. And then this is just the paper I used in the, not the last one, but the one before that. The I'm gonna connect these. No, I don't like that. I'm just gonna put that there. Then we have, put a little bit of blue up there. That's from one of Tina, Shabby Dabby Doodah. Alright, and then just take a look at it, see how you like. I don't have it connecting, which is okay. Right now it looks like two separate pieces, except for they go together, so, but I'm okay with that. And I don't think I need these pieces. We'll wait on those, see if we need them later. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the gesso. And my gesso is in a big giant thing, and I need to find, actually, I think I got rid of all these, but I had extra ones that I should have not gotten rid of, because that would have been a good place to stick this gesso to make it a little easier to, oh, too much, way too much. Put some of that back in there. Well, maybe never be able to open that cover again. We'll see. So I'm just going to take my palette knife. Now, just some art. I don't know what her name is, because she doesn't talk so much. She more does this. Well, I don't know if she speeds it up or not. She does the music over it. So she just, whoops, writes on the, does the thing with the words on the screen and the music. So she never actually says her art. I don't know if Jessamine is her last name or her first name. Who knows? So by using a scraper or palette knife or whatever, you get some more texture. You get just thicker and thinner layers of the gesso, which is really fun and cool. You can go more than one direction. You can like try to get your body in weird ways, or you could turn your book. Which, if I was not doing it on camera, I probably would be turning my book right now. Now, I do like my, linear lines. I've got lines going up and down and sideways. So when I'm doing my scraping, I am trying to keep with that a little bit. It's not really important to do that. It's just personal preference. And you can see I did get some ink from one of my digitals probably, or from this, because that's not perfectly clean, but I don't see it on there. So I'm pretty sure it's from a digital, which is okay. It's just going to add to the interest. So the next layer, I think it came off of that one probably. Okay, so I'm going to clean off my palette knife so the paint doesn't stick to it forever. Oh, and she used her palette knife to add paint. I'm not exactly sure if that's what I'll do. Also, since I got this left on here, let's just go get the rest of it off on here because that's fun. If you watch my past videos, you know this is one of my favorite techniques now, is just scraping on paint with the acrylic block. Whoops. There we go. Want more linear lines. It's all good. Alright, that's a mess. Alright, I'm gonna dry this and then I'll be back. Okay, it's mostly dry. I touched it and now I have gesso trying to get on my hands. So I'm gonna take a script stamp. This is just the stamping I want to do. It's just a little bit of script. I'm gonna use the one that has the little postal thing on it. And I'm using my archival ink because I don't want a perfect, also it goes this way. Yep, it does. I don't want a perfect impression. Just kind of want to fill out some of these areas that are a little naked. Hopefully that will get covered because that's, you know how I said, I want linear, I want it straight. I don't want it all crooked. I don't like that. That's okay. I will go this way a little bit with it though. And this way. And get the stamp thing. I don't want the stamp thing too many times because then it's like, oh look, you use your same stamp everywhere. Well, yes I did because that's what I got. Alright, so that and some black, because we do have some black like in the words and stuff, so repeating the black is not a bad thing. And then I think I want to add some of this, and I could use paint. Oh, paint would give me a little bit of texture. Okay, the water bottle's in my way. Just saying. It's just in my way. But I think I will use, did I leave it out? No, I didn't. I've got the Twilight, which is like a dark blue. Where's my dark blue? It's right here. And so I'm just going to put some of that in here, especially where there's, well, partly I want to do this to kind of like bring this to be like one piece, but I'm not going to do this in a way that is necessarily covering the whole thing. I'm just going to here and there, not getting perfect circles anywhere. And down in the corner maybe. So that's kind of what that looks like on that side. And I'm also going to do it over here. And I'm going to, don't line up. Oh, I see. You have to have it like that. Alright, so it won't matter. Just put it on there, Darcy. It's not that big a deal. Oh, I would like them to at least be same height. And I don't want to do it the exact same way I did it on the first page either. So this one I'm kind of going more in the middle. Just so it's not exactly this. I just didn't want it to be exactly the same. You know what I mean? Because I kind of did 4 corners there almost. So I just did there and there. That's it. That's what that's about. It's mostly on gesso, so it should be mostly dry. It probably should dry a little bit more. Now I need to figure out what I want to use for my stencil to add texture paste. And I was thinking I might even just use, this is just a homemade stencil that I've got. And might just add some. I'm going to use the Light and Fluffy modeling paste, and I'm going to use my palette knife. Oh, it got a little contaminated in there. Oh well, we'll live. Also, you could use stencil butter, anything you want really. And this is just a stencil that I hand cut on some Yupo. Don't know if it'll ever become an actual stencil or not because I haven't finished it. Unless I do like some border stencils, then you know it would make kind of a cool border kind of a stencil. So yeah, I guess you'll have to like vote and say if I should turn it into a stencil or not. Hopefully I've got a picture of it. I think I took a picture of it. As if, yeah, but you know, don't break it like that. Alright, and then I might just bring it down a little bit, at least these bits up here. Like those little rainbowy bits. Oh, see, that could totally be my, just kind of maybe make that a little bit of a bordery type thing up there. Not exactly, but sort of. Not perfect. Alright, so there's some texture. I'm going to go clean off the modeling paste off my stencil. That is very important because that stuff will stick and never come off if you don't take it off right away. And I'll dry this and then I'll be back. How many of you were yelling at me that I forgot the step with the paint? Well, the step with the paint was mostly to add some color and some coverage. So I could still do that. Which paint do I want to use? We just did blue, so I could do the yellow. Maybe some yellow ochre? Maybe. Oh, that's down here. Of course it is. Why would it be put away? I don't think that my paint storage is working for me. Just saying. I just don't think it's working for me because it's not in there. Because I don't put them away. I don't want to put them away. I don't like to put them away. They're hard to get to. I need a new paint storage ideas for my tube paints. So I've got some yellow ochre, which is close. I mean, I also have the quinacridone nickel azo gold, which is that's like a thin layer of it. Where did I put my acrylic? You know, I came back with the acrylic at some, oh, here it is, it's under here. And that's where I was gonna stick some paint. This is my paint palette. It's just a piece of acrylic because I had a bunch of these because that's how I was storing my stencils at one point. And now I'm not. But I think you can see that this is a pretty good yellow with the with the yellow in the kit. So I'm just it's gonna get on the texture now too because I did it as an upper step and that's alright. If I was doing the navy blue, I would probably or the Prussian blue, I would probably do even less of it than I am doing this. Just because Prussian blue can overtake. So that's why I'm glad I did the blue with the ink instead. Because it totally has the potential to overtake a piece. Alright, let's just get the rest of this on here if I can. Just here and there. A little bit of grunge, we like that. All right, now the paint's on there. Out of order, but that's okay. I'm gonna dry this and be right back. You can add more than one color paint. Like Jessam Art, she added like a light turquoise, light phthalo turquoise, or light phthalo green, I think. Beige and white is what she had added. But since I had the blue ink on there, I didn't really need to worry too much about using more than one color. I got more than one color by using inks and paint combined, because the ink is less heavy than the paint. Now, we're going to bring out the, what do we want to use? Bring out the texture by adding some colors. I want to add some Prussian blue. I don't know if this is as dark as I want it, because sometimes the Prussian blues I have are more, so we're going to add liquid color, and the reason we're doing that is so it will go in between the texture paste. And I'm trying to figure out where I want to, oh, this isn't open yet. Also, we're going to open this. I'll be right back. All right. That is a nice dark blue like I want. So, very carefully, hopefully, I'm just going to take a little bit on the edge here. Maybe even take a, oh man, I never cleaned my brushes yesterday. I'm not a good brush mom. I'm a terrible. But just kind of want to spread that a little bit. And then I'm going to take my spray and spray it and just let it follow through those little bits and up into the thing a little bit, up into the page. That's the word I want. And might be more than I want it to be a little bit darker in the crevices, so not necessarily that dark down there. Let's see. Where's my, right beside me. It's right beside me. Alright, I'm just going to put some on there so I can use my brush, which I just had. That one will work. Just a little, is this a filbert? Is that what that is? Add a little water to this. And just... And then one of the reasons that I wanted that paint to dry first is I didn't want green. Do you know what I mean? I did not want to get green when I mixed the blue and the yellow together. All right, I do want that to drip down some. So we are going to carefully just kind of add some water and let that drip a little bit. Oh, down into these lines. I don't really want it there necessarily, but this line here is good. Let's see if I can get into any of those other lines a little bit. You dab off where you don't want the paint to fall. And maybe I want it to come on these lines a little bit too, maybe. And then spray a little bit. Okay, and we're gonna let that think about itself for a minute and go to the other side. And also over here in the corner, spray. This is watercolor paper in this notebook, I believe. I think it's watercolor and not mixed media. I mean, mixed media would be fine too, but... Alright, we're going to go in some of these lines. Going a little heavy with it, but that's alright. I'm okay with that. I'm just trying stuff. I'm still, even with the plan, I'm going to be just trying stuff. So don't be alarmed. It's all good. Alright, we're going to tip this down a little bit and up a little bit. And you see I did put the papers, the protective papers behind it this time, because that's a lot of water and I don't need it to be ruining 2 pages back, you know. Alright, I'm gonna dry this and I'll be back. Oh, and you do notice that like the blue hits the gesso differently than it does the paper, and because that was a gel, I mean an ink, you know, a lot of the blue came out and so it's showing a lot of green now. That's okay. That's looking a little bit greenish, but that's okay because that's within the color family. It's between the yellow and the blue, so it works. I just didn't want too much green. Now, if I look at my inspiration pieces, you'll see that there are some black or black-gray splatters. So I do want to, I was just thinking about that before I even looked at this. I'm like, oh, does she have some of that? Or I saw it out of the corner of my eye, one or the other. So I do want to add some black splatters onto this. And also, I want to take, I don't have a Stabilo all, but I do have my Derwent. Did I already take out the black? That's an outliner. Baked Earth, charcoal gray. Ooh, do we want to do the charcoal gray? Maybe we don't want to go full on black with our, this is still a little damp, so just be careful with that. I'm not going to outline the whole square. I think I'm mostly going to just kind of like add a shadow to like the right side and the bottom of my lines basically, and then I'll go over it with water again, hopefully, and hopefully when I do that I won't totally tear apart the whole page. Probably would be. I used what did I use on to glue these down? I just used the glue stick. Matte medium probably would have been a better option, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. So I'm just going on the bottom and the right side to just kind of shadow these, and wherever the top layer of those particular pieces are, that one goes there. This is a Derwent pencil. You could use a Stabilo All, or even well, if you can get it thin enough, the crayons, the Tim Holtz crayon thingies. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. The distress crayons, that's what they're called. Yep. Distress crayons. I can think of words. Alright, and that's a piece, but it's so covered there is no outside edge to it. Except for maybe right there. Okay. And then I'm going to take a brush. So I use the charcoal instead of the black. I can't get that back there without knocking the camera. And then I'm just going to take a brush that's not too thick and just kind of blend those in, I guess. Just blend in my dirty water. I think the last color story was like more of a turquoise. And you kind of do want to think about your color story, whether you're thinking about it pre-planning it or as you're doing it. Kind of sticking with like 3 main colors is a good idea, which I think is why, like, when we do the color combo, there's like 3 colors, because if you were to add a lot more colors, you would just end up with just too much. It's just a little too much for the eye. How do I know this? Not because I went to school, just because I watched a lot of people do their videos, and so I learned by watching others, basically. I'm no expert. These are just little tips I've picked up along the way, and a lot of you already know them. But if you are new, that's who these tips are for. I try to remember that sometimes there are people that are new that have never done an art journal, or, you know, they're just really new to all of it. So I try to be aware of that. Did I leave the pencil out for me to be able to find it? Yes, I did, thankfully. Because there's, whoops, oh well, whoops. Just throwing things, it got wet. So if your Derwent pencil gets wet, it will smudge more. That's all right. We'll make it work. All right, so hopefully that added a little bit of depth to our piece. Now I do want to do some black splatters, so I'm gonna make that easy. I'm just gonna use my black India ink for that, and just put some of that over there. I might add a little bit of water to just make it, oops. And I saw my toothbrush. You can use anything. You can, like, smaller brushes are better. I was like, I just saw a toothbrush. Okay, but toothbrushes are kind of fun too, because if you can get it wet enough, get enough on there. All right, you can get tiny, oh no, not this toothbrush, but oh, that toothbrush it's obviously been used for paint. Oh, there you go. You can get tiny little splatters with a toothbrush. That's why I like, so I'm just kind of going like that. But it's really stiff because, you know, did I clean it real good? No, of course I didn't. I don't want too many. You just want a little bit here and there. That got a little heavy over there, but that's okay. And going off the page a little bit is fine too. Maybe a little bit right there. All right. So that will now turn my water black. And, oh, and I wanted to say, you know, when you're doing your wet color to, oh, look at that, that is a mess, to go with your texture, you can use inks, watercolors, distress inks, watered down acrylic, fluid acrylic, just anything really. Oh, I do want to add a little bit of this in, oh, I might just do this as splatters. Sure, why not? We'll do a little bit of quinacridone nickel azo gold splatters. I think one of these is small. Nope. That one's not quite small enough. You want fairly, that's, oh, I could use my fan brush. I hardly ever, the heck just fell down? Something just fell, oh, just dripped water. Oh, paintbrush. I hardly ever use a fan brush, but I know a lot of people do. So I just want to add like a deeper, I want to add this back. I think my focal point may have a little bit of this color, so I just want to add some. That's all. I want to add a lot, apparently. Alright, make sure I wash those. Those definitely, I have this white strip down the middle. I'm not too concerned about it. I mean, if these end up being more like 2 separate pages, that's okay. It's all a learning experience and just having fun with it. And sometimes I might just do one side. And then, you know, if I did 2 sides and I like one better than the other, then I could just remember that for future purposes. Now, what did I do with the pieces that I was possibly going to use for a focal point? Oh, this was one of them, I think. But I want to tear that down more. And it's kind of small for this piece. I wish I had that bigger. Do I have that bigger? I might somewhere. Ooh, let me cut this out. Okay, I think I want to do one more thing before I add a focal point. I'm going to take this little bit of ink over here, which is probably going to get some of both, and just do a little bit of that. It's going to be kind of browny orangey, but that's okay. And I have no plan on where I want them. I'm just kind of putting them on there randomly, and I don't want them to be perfect. So we've got a little bit of orange and a little bit of black. And maybe you just do one right there to overlap that one a little bit. That's good. That's enough. Alright, I gotta make sure I go wash that because I just put India ink on it. Alright, and now I need to figure out if, I think this was going to be my focal point, right? It needs a little something to balance it. Maybe I've got this gel plate print, so I might use that, and then I can use it over here as well for a sentiment that I've got. I'll cut that down a little bit. Or I liked that there. I had that there a minute ago. And then, you know, that flower there, I'm thinking. And I have a couple more sentiments. I know some people are not into the sentiments. I wanted the sentiments. That's just how I did today. Alright, I could put that like that. And then that could even just go across there. And do I want to add, maybe I don't want to add that. I thought I did, but maybe I don't. Alright, so they're kind of 2 separate pages, but they work together, and I'm okay with that. But maybe I want this sentiment over. This is from a book I've got. It's got some fun things in it. It says, "Preserve life, throw a party." Kind of don't want that there. And that could just, alright, so now I need to glue them down. I'm going to use art glitter glue. That should stick really well. There's still a little bit of wetness on my page. And I'm going to ink the edges of this gel plate print that I've got going here. And also I'm going to take off this top bit, which is a little wishy-washy. I'm going to ink them with, what? Black, I think. I'll just ink them with this archival ink. I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got my pieces glued on. I kind of want my texture to show up a little bit more, so I'm going to try to just kind of like hit the edges or the tops or something with this black. I just want it to stand out a little bit more. And so yeah, I'm trying to get the edges too, so that hopefully the edges will get a little bit darker than the middle bit. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So yeah, just taking my dauber and going around my texture pieces. They don't stand out enough for me. Yes, they have texture, but you know, kind of like that design, and I want it to show up more. So I'm going side to side just so I could try to get I'm trying not to go down in between them. I'm trying to just hit the tops and the edges. I guess I'm going in circles too. I don't know. I am getting down in the middle. I don't know that there's any way around that, but alright. So you can't see a lot of the first layer. You see little bits here and there. The first layer, a little bit of flowers showing through there, a little bit of the design showing through there, a little bit of words here and there. Even the stamping that I did just shows up in a few places here and there. But it adds depth to your background. I think adding the ink to that to the textured pieces helped to make them stand out a little bit more. I love my nested circles. I always love those. So we have straight angular lines of the original piece, and even this here is, oh look, that got wet. Oh well. Oh, I also did the water with the that's what happened, is I did the Derwent ink tints with the water, so we got extra grunge happening because then my pieces got wet. And what probably the difference between the pieces of paper that are digitals that do this and the ones that didn't have as much effect is probably the paper I printed them on, because some of them are printed on 24-pound paper and some of them are printed on 32-pound premium paper, and that is the paper that is going to hold up the best when doing, you know, that. So this is awfully white, so I'm going to take, where's my brush? There it is. I'm just going to take this, which still has some ink on it, and just kind of put that in there so it's not a stark white. We don't mind a little bit of white here and there. We don't have to obliterate all the white, but that was just a lot of white. So we still have some white here, tiny bits up there and there and there. That's okay. White's not a bad thing. We could even bring back in some gesso if we wanted, which would add another interesting layer and like a little bit of grunge. I think there's just one thing left I want to do, and I think I want to ink the edges with black. I'm also going to take a chance and do a little bit of stamping just around the edges to add to that. I just don't know what I did to this, but it's like really sticky now. So I'm just going to here and there add this as part of the border. Doesn't have to be everywhere. I just kind of want, that one's like super sticky. A little bit of that. Everything. This is like wicked sticky. I cleaned it the other day. Okay, now you know where I'm from. If you didn't know, I'm from Massachusetts. If the wicked didn't give it away. Yes, I pronounce my R's. That's because I was a secretary for the Army for a while, so you kind of, people want to know what you're saying. All right, that didn't show up much, did it? Let's try there. Oh, it's sticky. There it did. All right, it's showing I want it more on this yellow bit to break up that yellow a little bit, and I've got it a little bit there. Down in that corner. Oh, that didn't show up at all. Is there any left? Nope, there's none anywhere. Oh gosh, how do you get the sticky off your... See, I used it with paint and then I cleaned it, and now it's just like... This is what happens too, probably when you buy cheap, there is still some paint in there too, I think. Buy cheap stamps from Amazon. All right, so it is finished. Obviously it took more than the 40 minutes of this video because it was dry time in between. But if you like yourself a little bit of yellow and blue, this will make you happy. Yeah, I have a book with all these little sayings, and that one just, it made me chuckle. So if something makes me chuckle, I'm probably going to use it. And this piece came from Manu Design Studio. She has these scrapbook kits that you can get and make some digital scrapbooks for yourself and whatnot. And she's got some fun grungy backgrounds and focal points and whatnot. So there it is. That's a little bit more, well, it looks a little bit, these colors are closer in real life than in the camera, I think. This yellow ochre is coming out really bright on camera. So if I get it a little bit, there you go. If it's a little closer, it's a little bit better maybe. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and tag me if you do some art journal pages. If you can tag me on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And on YouTube and Instagram, I'm at Darcy's Mixed Media, and on Facebook, Well, you can put it in my Facebook group and show me if you want to, which is Misadventures, Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media, which is a public group. And you can post your things in there too. I hope you guys have a delightful day, and I hope you had fun watching this. And that might be it for the art journal pages for a few days. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. But I had talked about the 3 different kinds. I'll show them all to you just in case. So there's this one, which had a plan. This one, which was just throwing things at a page, no plan. And then there was this one that I did using Carrie and both our prompts. Perpetual, he has 100 perpetual prompts and I practice prompts. So just 3 very different art journal pages, 3 very different styles. I think you can see how the kind of colors that I like. I like dark, could you tell? Alright, have a delightful day, guys. Love you.